So in this segment, we're going to talk about one of the most difficult challenges and questions that founders face. Which investors do I talk to? Now, there are three main components you want to think about. Focus in terms of sector, stage, and investment amount. The good news is there are some great resources that are freely available. The first are two databases. Two fantastic free resources for founders to investigate investment firms are PitchBook and Crunchbase. So other than PitchBook and Crunchbase, as a founder, you'll find a lot of information on most investment firms' websites. So I'd highly encourage you to spend time on those. And then the third thing is you want to reach out to other founders. If you're really interested in what it was like to work with a particular investment firm, I think you'll find other founders to be particularly helpful when it comes to giving references or descriptions of how their experiences were. Okay, so let's dive into the three things that you want to think about when selecting an investment firm as a founder. The first is sector of focus. So there are really three sectors that most investment firms focus on: enterprise software, consumer technology, and healthcare. Now, some investment firms focus on all three. Some focus on just one or two. But it's pretty easy to look up, either on their website or in PitchBook or Crunchbase, if they're focused on your sector. The second thing you want to be thinking about is stage. Now, the labels of financings are kind of confusing these days. We get that. However, try to think about yourself in one of three categories: pre-product market fit, post-product market fit, or pre-IPO. And you can check in PitchBook and Crunchbase if the investment firms you're thinking about talking to have a history of investing at the same stage that you are. And then finally, there's the check size. Now, as a founder, you want to be planning to raise enough money to get you to the milestones you want to achieve 18 to 24 months from today. So once you look at those three things, sector, stage, and check size, you'll be able to use the databases in PitchBook and Crunchbase to create a list of possible investment firms to talk to. As a founder, now that you've created a list of possible investment firms to talk to based on stage, sector, and check amount, there's only a couple more steps left in your process. We recommend you take that list of firms and you cross-reference it with any possible competitive investments. It's pretty easy to check if any of the competitive investments that you're worried about have already been invested in by some of the firms that you've identified. Now you've got your core list. What we would suggest is you break that list into chunks of 5 or 10 firms and rank them tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. As a founder, it becomes pretty much unmanageable if you're talking to more than 5 or 10 firms at a time. So to wrap up now on which investors do I talk to as a founder, here's a checklist you want to think through. Did I find a list of firms that fit my stage, my sector, and my check amount? Did I eliminate any firms that have competitive investments? And have I ranked all the firms in groups of 5 or 10 in terms of tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3? Once you have that list, now we can go to the next segment where we figure out what's the best way to reach out to these firms and engage them.